Good evening, fuckers. We are back once again with another Train Simulator Classic request video. This one is a bit different. Those of you who watch Jim Plays channel may or may not be aware that he's very recently done a video which had him doing a run from London to Brighton. He wanted to do a video showing the loco that he chose, and he couldn't think of a route, so I suggested to him to do London to Brighton. And as I suggested it to him, I had an idea. So what I am going to do is the exact same run that he has just done. I'll also put a link to his video so that yeah, you can see it for yourself to compare if you haven't already watched it. So I'm going to do the exact same run. So London to Brighton. I will stop at the same stops, which will be Clapham Junction, East Croydon, Gatwick Airport, Three Bridges, Haywards Heath, Hassocks and Brighton. I've also set it to the same conditions, so it's summer, it's cloudy, it's 5:30 p.m. The only difference is that he did his run in a class 412, a loco that first started running in 1956 and carried on running to about, I think it was 2005, the last of them were finally removed. Admittedly, his one is one of the ones that went through the refurbishment in the 1980s, so it's not quite as slow and what have you as one from 56 or whatever. But anyway, so I'm going to do this in a much more modern train. So I am going in the class 707, and we're going to see if it makes any difference at all. I don't think it's going to, because things like the line speed, for one thing, and okay, the brakes on this new one are probably going to be better, but they weren't exactly terrible on the 412. The acceleration might be better, but it's not really going to amount to very much, I don't think. One thing that I did forget to point out to him when I came up with the idea was to keep the trains relatively small, so only do like a 4 or maybe an 8 car. No, he went all out. He did a 12 car train, or at least he started in one. Something happened in his video that I have never seen happen in the game before or since, which is that if you watch his video, somewhere around the 48.5 minute mark, 5 of his coaches just disappear, and he goes from being, from driving a 12 car Emu to a 7 car Emu. Now the class 412, you never had 7 car Emus, so what the hell happened there, I haven't got a clue. But the fact that it was an Emu he was driving means that, okay, yeah, he did lose quite a bit of weight, but he also lost quite a bit of power. So he didn't gain any advantage from it, but he also didn't gain any, there was no advantage, no disadvantage to it. So we'll let him off that one, even though he had nothing that he could have done about it. So neither of us had ever seen that happen before in this game. So hopefully it's not going to happen to me in this one. So anyway, because he chose a 12 car train, I've got to go with as close to that as I can. So I'm in a 10 car 707. And even though we're on the London to Brighton line, I am in the old Southwest liveried 707. Oh, I can't over everything. Right, let's get this one up and running. Okay, so here we are. Here is our class 707 10 car jobby. So right, let's get things set up. Right, so
TPWS and AWS operational.
right, lights. I've got to try to remember where the lights are. There they are. Pretty sure that's them set. Daylight running, so that's okay. The doors open. Now setting the head code on this thing is a bit of a pain in the arse actually, because yeah, it involves the function keys F7 and F8, and my function keys barely work, so I don't know what that's saying as far as where we're going. But Clapham Junction, well, technically, yeah, it's right, we are going there, but we're not stopping there. We are stopping there, but we are going to be carrying on from there as well. Right, doors are shut, everything is set up, DRA off. Let's get underway. So Brighton, 50 and 3/4 miles, as near as makes no difference. Let's open the windows, get a bit more of the sounds in. We pass a 375, I think that is. Do like the 700 series in the Southwest Trains livery. I'll freely admit that is entirely why I chose to run it in this livery. Okay, so top speed goes up to 40. The first station is Battersea Park. We are not stopping there. Now I do have a slight power advantage in this train compared to Jim. So in the 412, each 4-car unit had a total of 1000 horsepower. Every single car in the 412 is powered. They all have a 250 horsepower motor. So him being in a 12-car unit means that he had 3000 horsepower, which is a pretty hefty amount for a commuter emu, no doubt about that. But with the 707, each 5-car unit has a total of 1600 horsepower. So I have, yeah, my 10-car unit has 3200 horsepower. So my train is slightly shorter. It is a good bit lighter, and it has more power. But are any of those things really going to be relevant? So I'm now on a 1 in 85 downhill slope. I really want to avoid speeding. So Clapham Junction is coming up, and that is my first stop. The ground is levelling out, but I don't really need to increase throttle anymore. There is also, of course, the difference in our driving styles. Jim approaches stations much faster than I do. I'm a lot more cautious when it comes to approaching stations, overly so. But I tend to leave stations a lot faster than he does. So you could almost say they cancel each other out as well. I think I'm coming in a bit fast, so yeah, I've had to slam on the brakes pretty hefty here for this part. So, yeah, there we go. Anyone getting on or off? Of course, I have manual control over the doors, which Jim didn't have in the 412. So this looks like there's no one getting on or off. Let's get the door shut. They are shut. Off we go. So we're now on a 60 mph zone. So we can get a decent amount of speed up straight away. Wandsworth Common, next station, just going straight through there. Same applies to Ballon, which is barely half a mile after it. Yeah, looks like 421. So here we are at Wandsworth Common. We're now in a 70 mph zone. Here is Balham Station. Streatham Common is the next station. Again, just going straight through. Norbury station, pretty close to Streatham Common, and just as with that one, we are again going straight through it. There's another 377, 375. See, it might have been a 377. Streatham Common. We're now heading uphill on a 1 in 126 upgrade. So we may lose a bit of speed here. So we'll throttle up to deal with that. Here we are at Norbury. Just caught that. So Thornton Heath coming up, very closely followed by Selhurst, not even 3/4 of a mile away. Yeah, Thornton Heath. And we have a speed reduction coming up as we approach Selhurst. I've rather overdone it on the speed reduction. Then after Selhurst is East Croydon, which is our next stop. So, yeah, there you go, Selhurst. go, entire train on there. Stopping slightly earlier than we were supposed to, but we're still fine. So yeah, there we are. East Croydon. Doesn't look like there's anyone getting on. So yeah, that will do for this stop. Onwards. So our next stop is Gatwick Airport. I think we got a fair old distance to go before we are at Gatwick. And Gatwick is pretty close to being sort of halfway between London and Brighton. So okay, into the 60 zone. Then once we pass South Croydon, we are into a 90 zone. So here we are at South Croydon. And now we can go up to 90. Top speed of this loco is 100, which I don't think is going to surprise too many people. At Pearly Oaks. And Pearly Station itself is barely, it's not even 3/4 of a mile further up. Pearly, clearly the major station compared to Oaks that we went through just, well, not even a minute ago. We are at 90. This is the the former tunnel that was going underneath a lunatic asylum. These days I don't think we need them. Got too many of them out in the fucking open as it is. So we're on a 1 in 150 uphill gradient here, which is really not proving to be any sort of trouble. But first of many tunnels as we go through the South Downs. We're now going downhill, 1 in 200. Mm. 319. I wasn't expecting to see one of those. So 1 in 190 downhill section. And to put a bit of brakings on there. Now we are going uphill. And we have a max speed reduction in 1.5 miles. Take this down to 80. It's only quite a short one though. Just over a quarter of a mile. After which, yeah, we can take it back up to 90 again. So I suspect that speed reduction to 80 will, yeah, come into effect on the other side of this tunnel. Yeah, there it is. So we're now in an 80 zone. We're also on a 1 in 93 uphill climb. So entering the 90 again. There we go, we're in the 90 zone. Past whatever disused station this is. Actually, I'm not sure it is completely disused, it's just that we were put on the avoiding line. Trying to get the trackside view, but yeah, it's not playing ball. you've probably only got like another couple of miles before Gatwick Airport comes along. I can't remember the name of the station that is just before it, and I wasn't paying attention to that. Hawley, that's it. Gatwick Airport is so close that we're actually having to start slowing while we are in Hawley Station. So, yeah, here we are approaching Hawley. I need to start applying the brakes, but not for here. See one aircraft coming in. Slightly overshot the stop for 10, but we're perfectly okay though if it was a 12 car train. So yeah, here we are at Gatwick Airport. Again, doesn't look like there are many, or indeed any, getting on or off. So I think that will do. So Brighton is now 24 miles away. Our next stop is Three Bridges. We've got a few stops that are all like fairly close to each other. So yeah, Gatwick here, Three Bridges and Haywards Heath, I think are all fairly close to each other. Yeah, even at this slow speed, just leaving a station, still only getting this view. Yeah, and that's all it's going to give us. Three Bridges is the next station, just over a mile and a half away. Okay, we'll start coasting a bit, but I don't think we need to put the brakes on just yet. I'll start applying brakes when we're about 2/3 of a mile away. That was a 465. I was not expecting to see one of them on this line. There you go, that looks like pretty much the right place as well. So yeah, there's the 10-car marker there, 10-car train, right where we are. So yeah, Three Bridges station. No one here at all. So, on we go. Next stop is Haywards Heath. I have a feeling that's the next station. Yeah, so we were doing over 35 as the last car left the platform. It's not bad going. Acceleration rate on this thing is pretty good. Yeah, it's just an absolute sea of rails here. Most of them all sidings. So we have a speed decrease down to 80 as we are still accelerating up towards that. I'll just treat it as we are already in an 80 zone here. We're in the 80 zone. We hadn't even reached 80 mph yet, so the fact that we're going uphill probably has more than a slight part to play in that. now he reached the summit of this hill. We're about to enter a 90 mph zone. So Balcombe is the next station. We are not stopping there. We are now in a 90 mph zone, so let's get some more speed up. Now on a downhill section as we go through Balcombe station there. I think it's somewhere around here was where, yeah, nearly half of Jim's train disappeared. Quite the impressive viaducts, that one. So here comes Haywards Heath Station in at 1.5 miles. We can coast through a bit towards it. It looks like all of my train is still here, so whatever issue it was that hit Jim's train, I seem to have been able to avoid it. I'm still absolutely mystified as to what the hell it was. So, well, pretty close to the right spot. But yeah, here we are then at Haywards Heath. There is no one here at all, and no one is getting off this train either, so yeah, another very short stop. There you go. Right. So, next stop is Hassocks. This is the only stop where there is potentially a bit of an issue as far as being able to stop there. The fact that Jim was able to do it in his video says to me I'll have no problem, but if anything like that is going to happen, yeah, Hassocks station is where it's going to be. I guess we'll find out fairly soon. This looks like a great location for me to make the thumbnail for this video. There we go. Wivelsfield, next station. Just blast through there. Another decent sized viaduct. Wivelsfield, right there. Not a huge amount at that station, which I'm sure surprises no one at all. Burgess Hill very quickly, yeah, it was very quickly going to be upon us as well. Looks like Burgess Hill is in the process of being at least partly rebuilt. So Hassocks station is coming up and I will be able to stop there. Well, here we are at Hassocks Station again. No one getting on or off, so it is going to be another very short stop. There we go. Right, so the next station is Brighton itself, which is only in 7 miles anyway, so not the biggest of surprises. In fact, I should say the next stop. I think there are still at least 1 or 2 more stations. Preston Park for one. One final tunnel with an extremely elaborate entrance. When you come out the other end, yeah, the exit point, or the entry point, if you are coming in from Brighton, yeah, there's absolutely bugger all nothing there. So I only got the sort of decorative stuff half done on this particular tunnel. We do have a speed reduction coming up in about 1.25 miles down to 75 as we start the actual approach to Brighton itself. There we go, we made it to 90 mph, that's what I was trying to do before we start shaving off our speed. Take us down to 75, which we will do no problem. Still no trackside view. We'll continue to coast because yeah, we got to lose more speed down to 40 in 1.5 miles. So yeah, here we are at Preston Park Station. Not slowing down for this station, we're slowing down for the speed reduction that is fast approaching. There we are, into the 40 mph section, half a mile until we reach the 25 section. And although it's not marked on the route display, we will need to go down to 15 as we are entering Brighton station itself. The single yellow aspect, which is to be expected. So we can go on, showing us platform 6, which is where we're going. Typical. The one time I remember to be doing 15 as you approach the station, and it's the one time that I didn't need to be doing that. You can actually approach the station at 25. Oh well. So I got the whole train in, no problem. That was never going to be an issue. That 319 looked like it was coming in a bit bloody sharpish. Well, we're not going to be as close to the buffers as that one is. There we go. So, that then was London Victoria to Brighton in the class 707, and yeah, it's a good run. I do like doing the London to Brighton run, and it's a great loco for doing that run in, even though it really does look like there was no sod on this train at any point. So yeah, oh well. Right, let's see how we did. I don't think I did too badly. I think I did get a couple of speeding errors, but I do think it was only 2. So I'll certainly take that. So there we are. Well, was that quicker then than Jim in his 412? It felt quicker, but obviously I will not know until we've actually been able to compare these videos. So yeah, well, I'll give you the chance to do that now, because this one is done, and we will see you at the next one.